Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, we will talk about the concept of the cognitive foundations of the self. This is lesson 3 in our series on the course Understanding the Self. By the end of this lesson, you will have a clearer understanding of what the self really means in psychological terms and how various factors shape who we are. So let's begin. First things first, here's what we're going to cover today. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to recognize different psychological concepts of the self, come up with your own definition of what self means to you, and examine how various factors influence the development of the self. So let's start by understanding that the concept of the self is explored by multiple fields like psychology, sociology, and even anthropology. But in psychology, we're focusing on the individual, how we think, how we act, and how we feel, while also acknowledging the impact of society and our surroundings on how or who we become. Makikita natin kung paano hinuhubog ng mga impluensyang ito ang ating pagkakakilanlan. Now let's define the self. Sa simpleng paliwanag, ang sarili ay ang ating personal na pagkakakilanlan. Kung sino tayo sa ating sariling paniniwala. William James, a famous psychologist, broke this down into two parts, the I and the me. The I is the active part, the part that thinks, feels, and acts. The me is how we describe ourselves or our attributes. Carl Rogers took a similar approach, with the I being the decision maker and the me being how we see ourselves. I o ako ang gumagawa ng desisyon at ang me o ako ay kung paano natin nakikita ang ating sarili. So when you think about yourself, you're actually balancing these two aspects. Now, when we talk about the self, we also need to touch on identity and self concept. Your identity includes the roles you play, like being a student, a sibling, or a teammate. It's how you see yourself in different areas of your life. Your self concept is your overall perception of who you are. Halimbawa, maaring tignan ng isang estudyante ang sarili bilang masipag, mabuting kaibigan, o maaasahang membro ng grupo. Iba't ibang papel ngunit lahat ay bahagi ng iisang sarili, all part of the same self. But here's the interesting part. The self isn't fixed. It changes over time, just like your preferences and interests. Think of it like a piece of clay. You can shape it based on new experiences, lessons, and even relationships. Halimbawa, noong bata ka, maaring mahilig ka sa sports, pero habang lumalaki ka, nakahanap ka ng bagong interest tulad ng sining, or agham, or science. This is how your identity evolves. Carl Rogers also introduced the idea of the self schema, which is basically an organized set of beliefs and knowledge about ourselves. And like everything else, it adapts when we experience something new. Sa madaling salita, ang self schema isang organisadong hanay ng mga paniniwala at kaalaman tungkol sa ating sarili. At tulad ng ibang bagay, nag-aangkop ito kapag may bago tayong nararanasan. Let's say you pick up a new skill like learning to play the guitar. That experience changes how you see yourself, and now musician might become part of your self schema. Of course, we can't forget Sigmund Freud. He viewed the self as a constant balancing act between three internal forces, the id, the ego, and the superego. The id represents our primitive desires like things like fun, food, and sleep. The ego is the rational side that keeps us in check and the superego is the moral compass. Imagine you want to go out and party with friends. That's your id operating on you. But you also know you have an exam the next day, so that's the superego operating this time. So your ego steps in to find a balance, maybe study a bit first, then go out. Now let's talk about how society shapes our sense of self. According to George Herbert Mead's theory of symbolic interactionism, the self is largely a product of our social interactions. Three key things happen here. Society gives us the foundation for our identity, other people validate our self concept, and societal values influence what we prioritize. Halimbawa, kung palagi kang pinupuri bilang isang mahusay na estudyante, more likely you will identify yourself as one and will act accordingly. Self awareness comes into play in two forms: private and public. Private self awareness is when you're in tune with your inner thoughts and feelings. Public self awareness is how you think others see you. Imagine na maghahanda ka para sa isang school presentation. Habang nagpa-practice ka ng iyong speech, napapansin mong kinakabahan ka. Iniisip mo kung bakit. Baka dahil natatakot kang magkamali o may isip mo na normal lang na kabahan kasi na-experience mo na ito dati. Nagka-experience ka na ng public speaking before. So, at that moment, your self-awareness is working on you. Now, during the actual presentation, inaobserbahan mo ang iyong audience. Naiisip mo na, tingin ba nila prepared ka o hindi sa mga sasabihin mo? O interesado ba sila makinig sa'yo? So, ina-adjust mo ang iyong sarili, sinisikap mong magmukhang confident at excited or full of energy base sa kung paano mo gusto kanilang makita at mapakinggan. This time, ang gumagalaw naman sa iyo ay ang iyong public self-awareness. Ipinapakita ng sitwasyong ito kung paano mo maaaring maging aware sa iyong sariling mga pakiramdam at kaisipan, and that is your private self-awareness. Habang iniisip din kung paano ka tinitignan ng iba, and that is your public self-awareness. Moving on, we have the actual, ideal, and old selves. The actual self is who you are right now. The ideal self is who you aspire to be, and the old self is who you think you should be based on expectations. For example, you might want to join the varsity team, that is your ideal self. But know that passing your classes is what you should focus on, and that is your old self. We all compare ourselves to others. This is known as social comparison. There are two kinds: the upward comparison, when we compare ourselves to someone better off than us, and downward comparison, when we compare ourselves to someone who's worse off than us. A student might feel more confident, for example, if they get better grades than their classmates. But if they score lower, it can hurt their self esteem. Speaking of self esteem, it's our overall evaluation of ourselves. High self esteem can make you feel confident, but too much can turn into narcissism. Low self esteem, on the other hand, can lead to negative feelings or even depression. Halimbawa, maaari kang makaramdam ng saya pagkatapos makakuha ng mataas na marka sa isang exam, ngunit kung ang isang kaibigan ay mas maganda ang resulta, makakaramdam ka naman ng self-doubt. Narcissism is when someone has an inflated sense of self esteem and is overly focused on themselves. While they might come off as charismatic, it can harm their relationships because they often prioritize admiration over connection. And finally, let's talk about the relationship between self esteem and achievement. It's important that programs promoting self esteem focus on actual accomplishments rather than empty praises. Rewarding real progress like improved grades or effort builds genuine self worth. In conclusion, the self is a dynamic, ever changing concept influenced by our psychology, society, and personal experiences. Understanding these factors can help us develop a healthier self concept and handle the pressures of life more effectively. And that's for today's lesson. I hope you found these insights helpful. Remember, to understand the depth of human potential, we must first recognize that our thoughts are the foundations upon which our lives are built. Strong minds create strong futures. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. Bye for now. See you soon.